Welcome to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, where we bring enlightened entrepreneurs, coaches, and influencers together to discuss cutting-edge topics for the world of relationships, culture, business, and spirituality. Here's your host, Max Antonetta Jones.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Carol's Courage to Confidence segment of the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show. For those of you who follow me, you know I'm your weather girl. So if you're chiming in, let me know what the weather's like where you are. You know I love to get comments. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull those comments up right now. If you're here watching me, tell me what the weather's like. I'm down here in what is normally very sunny South Florida, and it has actually been pouring rain today. But we're in rainy season, so it'll last a few hours and then it'll blow off. How was your 4th of July? How cool to be here on Hump Day of the week, July 5th, the day after the 4th of July. I saw a young man on TV today, and he basically is going to lose the sight in his eye from a firework that a friend was holding next to him. Makes you wonder how something so fun can be so dangerous, right? Well, it got me to thinking about business, believe it or not. It really did. Think about it. How can something that we love to do so much can sometimes be so freaking hard, right? It's got that yin and the yang, and it's got the balance. And where are we, in our leadership at the time? So if you're with me, who's got one of these?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, 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 right? Have you ever felt that way? How could this possibly be so hard? I'm excited to be here today. You know, I'm all about leadership. Today, we're going to be learning a little bit out of John Maxwell's book, The 5 Levels of Leadership. I am using this book, his 5 levels as a foundation for some nonprofit leadership work that I'm being hired to do down here in South Florida. We're not going to go through the whole book. It's a good book, and it's got lots of great things in it. But oftentimes we don't understand where we are in our leadership. So today we're just going to talk about and give a little brief synopsis of the 5 levels. But here's the thing. It doesn't just apply to business. It applies to our personal life. I was thinking about that about myself earlier today. Like, what one thing? Remember, I'm your queen of reframe empowering questions. So questions are specific and they're time bound. And the caveat is we're not to be attached to the outcome, and we're not to sit around and figure it out. Well, Carol, how am I going to get the answer if I don't figure it out? Come on. If you've been following me, you know my next book is going to be called You Can't Read the Label When You're Inside the Jar. And we're all in a jar, including me. That's why everybody gets to have a good coach, someone on the outside who can see. You see, the questions that you're looking for, they're sitting right outside your jar. They're outside of your awareness. You just don't know how to craft the question to get the answer that you really want. Put in the chat if that makes sense. Even if you're watching this on #replay, let me know. I could just bounce all over the place today. I'm excited about a lot of things, but what one thing I'm asking myself that I'm not doing consistently that if I were to do it would elevate everything? You could take that question, set the intention for your business. You could set the intention for your relationship. You could set the intention for your family life, your job, your business. Doesn't matter. They apply everywhere. As a matter of fact, I gave an introduction to them along with a couple other things last Thursday. I gave my first webinar. What do you mean it's your first webinar? I love the intimacy of private one-on-one coaching, and I've been in my jar. I've been resistant to doing webinars, even though I do Facebook Lives, I do this show, I do another show for Max. I used to have Carol's Craft Cocktail Show on Facebook. I've got Carol's Courage to Confidence Corner. If you want to come over to my personal page, come join me. I'm there every week. But there was just something about calling it a webinar that put me in resistance, and so I put it off. And now I'm committed to doing it every single month. As a matter of fact, for those that signed up and didn't make it, I'm going to be doing an encore next Tuesday. An encore? Well, how come you wouldn't just send out the replay? I like the people connection. There's not a single person that didn't show up that I actually know. So this is a chance for me to get to know them. This is a chance for live interaction, a chance for them to ask me questions. Well, is that a good use of your time? Yeah, right now it is, right? Because I'm also creating a group program, so I get lots of feedback. If there's anything I learned, it doesn't do us any good. Come on, how many of us, ooh, I got the answer for that person, but you're not really sure what they think they need. You think you know what they need, right? But what do they really want? What do they really want? Because oftentimes when we make those assumptions, we end up with what? An error in judgment. And that's what? That's a breakdown in our leadership. Oh my God. Carol, are you being so serious today? Heck no, we're going to have fun. You saw my little yes thing. I was looking for.
Give me a Y, give me an E, give me an S.
Oh, we did some fun things on the webinar too. I can't remember. I think I held it up. I used something else that was a lot of fun. So where are you having fun in your business, and where are you having fun in your leadership? Or is it all just drudgery? Just drudgery. As a matter of fact, one of the things that was suggested to me recently is you've been on Facebook for quite some time, Carol. There's a lot of people that follow you that don't really know who you are. So I'm going to be doing a post. 10 fun things you didn't know about me, so I get to reintroduce myself. But one of the things, for those of you who see me here, you know I'm all about leadership. And I'm grateful that I have a coach that gets to call me out on my leadership. I'm in my own jar too. I'm just a few steps ahead of you, right? And my coach is a few steps ahead of me. That's the cool thing about it. And in our leadership, and sometimes it's mentorship. What's the difference in mentorship and coaching? Mentorship, you get that person's time whenever they feel like giving it to you. But when you pay a coach, you get a committed amount of time, and that coach is going to show up there for you. My clients in my 6-month program, they know they're going to meet with me 3 times a month, committed to it. Do they always show up? Sometimes they don't. Do I always show up? Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times when I didn't get that required 24-hour notice that I'm sitting there looking at myself on the Zoom screen. It happens because life happens. But sometimes it's actually intentional. And then we get to look at that behavior and that habit and that pattern and how is it really, really serving us. Let's jump into the 5 levels of leadership, and you get to figure out where you are right now and what you're not going to get to figure out everything it's going to take to get to the next level, but we'll touch on it. Sound good? Who's with me? Give me something in the comments. All right. Here's something that's important. Leadership is a process. It's not a position. Oh, I got to get some reflective, non-glare glasses. Anyway, we often think, and in the past it used to be that way, leadership and management were used synonymously as if they were the same. Trust me, you can be in a management position and not be a good leader. How many of you know that's true? How many of us have had someone in management above us that we knew wasn't a very good leader? Who here's ever left a job because you didn't like your boss? Come on. People do it every day. Every day they do it. There's a thing called the Peter Principle, right? Where we rise to the level of our ineptness. And then we sit there. And we try to make sure that all the people underneath us in the hierarchy are better than us so they can keep us at where we are. Getting too deep today, Carol. Okay. It's a process, not a position. That means we can always grow and we can always step up in our leadership. The very first level of leadership is called position. That's where you got the position because somebody assigned you the title. Somebody assigned it to you, and people follow you because they have to. They don't even have to like you. But these are the people that work for you that they don't give any extra. They show up exactly when they're supposed to come to work, and they leave right on the dime when their time is up. So there's no investment. There's no relationship because there's no influence. It's all about position. He says people who make it only to level 1 may be bosses, but they're never leaders. They have subordinates, but not team members. Ooh, there's a powerful one for you. Are you a member of somebody else's team right now? Are you someone who's growing your own team? Position is the only level that does not require ability and effort to achieve it. Think about it. Anyone can be appointed into a position. Anybody who's heard any of my keynote talks, inside or outside of corporate America, knows that I believe in top-down, bottom-up leadership. You do not have to have a title to be a leader. You can be a leader in your church, in your community, in your department, yes, and in your business. And you get to be a leader of yourself. And oftentimes that's where the breakdown is. And that's what I love about empowering questions. These aren't just questions we ask of other people and their leadership. They're questions we get to ask of ourselves and our own leadership. Here's a powerful, powerful, empowering question that you can ask yourself on a regular basis. When I say regular, sometimes I get to ask myself this question more than once in a day. How would the leader I want to become do the thing I'm about to do right now? Think about it. If you kept that question in front of you and really looked at it and pondered it, you might not spend so much time on Netflix in the middle of a business day. Maybe you would scroll less on TikTok or on Facebook or Instagram, whatever your, platform of choice is. Perhaps you're someone, I had to take solitaire last year, over a year ago, I took solitaire off my phone. Oh my God, I could get lost in playing solitaire on that phone. It was ridiculous. Letting time fly by. Can't get that time back. Where are you in your leadership? The second level is permission. Level 2, he says, is based entirely on relationships. At this level, people follow you because they want to follow you, not because they have to and you're the manager. When you like people and treat them as individuals who have value, you begin to develop influence with them and you develop trust. Influence is key. How many of you have ever had a boss that just told you what to go do? You're like, you grumbled around. But you said what? You said,
Well, yes.
yes. Right? Because you had to. You didn't feel or believe that you had a choice. Someone else was telling you what to do. Here's the thing. You can like people without leading them, but you cannot lead them without liking them. That's what level 2 is about. Level 3 is about production. He says level 3 is based on results. So a leader at this level not only has influence, they have credibility and they get results. Work gets done, morale improves, profits go up, turnover goes down, and at level 3 is where momentum kicks in. How many of us would like more momentum in our business? Hey, I'm not preaching to you, I'm preaching to me. Right? Sometimes I talk about things because I know I get to hear it too. I'm just like you. He says leading and influencing others becomes fun at this level. Success and productivity have been known to solve a lot of problems. And here's what I highlighted that I really want you to get, because I thought about this and I looked at this and I thought, holy crap, this is so true. You ready? There's a legendary former NFL football player. He was a quarterback. If you're not my age or just a little bit younger, you're probably not going to remember him at all. His name was Joe Namath. He said this, when you're winning, nothing hurts. We can tolerate a lot when we're winning. We can tolerate a lot when our businesses are growing. We can tolerate a lot when the money's coming in. But when all that isn't happening, what happens to our patience? What happens to our tolerance? What happens to our trust and our faith? It's like, oh my God, I have a client right now. Truly, she's an ideal client. She's in corporate America. Started with me back in March. And then in April, she just disappeared. Just ghosted me. I reached out. I'd send her days and times for us to get together. Nothing. I'd send her text. Nothing. Finally, after April and May, I sent her a voicemail. I said, could you please just text me and let me know that you're alive and well? Like I couldn't figure it out. Strange. So all of a sudden, after 3 months of this, literally 3 months of this, I sent her another email, doing my job per my contract, giving you dates and times. I'm showing up for you. So she replies back and tells me all the trouble that's going on in her corporation. And she just doesn't see how anybody could help her. And she wants her money back. Folks, where in your life are you quitting on you? She's quitting on her. She doesn't get to just quit. I have a legally binding contract. She signed it. But she's very, very fear-based now. And I replied back to her. Said, nothing's going to go forward till we hop on a call. But here's your intake form. I want you to read through the very reasons that you hired me or the very things that you're going through. It just so happens that your company is speeding things up for you. And now she's afraid. Where are you afraid and then you're bailing out on yourself? Quitting's easy. Sometimes we get to put on our raincoat and work in the rain because sometimes we think when it rains, it pours, right? Well, sometimes it does. Level 4 leadership is about people development. Leaders become great not because of their power. They become great because of their ability to empower others. Those of you who follow me know I empower women to be the lioness leaders they were created to be, multiplying their income and their profits. I'm all about raising women up in leadership. Okay, and a few good men, but just a few. And I work with action takers. I'm going to digress for a second. I haven't been here. Did I talk about this last Wednesday? Aruba, tell me if I did. I'll go back to the private chat. Tell me if I talked about my LSU Tigers winning the World Series of Baseball last week. You know, I think I did because we were supposed to have guests and nobody showed. Or maybe that was when one lady showed. Remind me in the chat. Love me some LSU Tigers. That's where I went to school on scholarship. Level 5 in your leadership. Are you writing this stuff down? Are you thinking about it? We get to think about what we're thinking about. Oftentimes that's what gets us into trouble, right? It's our thinking. He says the highest and most difficult level of leadership is the pinnacle. While most people can learn to climb levels 1 through 4, level 5 requires not only effort, skill, and intentionality, but a very high level of talent. Only naturally gifted leaders ever make it to this highest level. What do leaders do on level 5? They develop people behind them to become leaders at level 4, right? We get to put our hand back and bring somebody with us, lift them up, encourage them. If you've got any questions on that, if you want to talk about where you are in your leadership, reach out to me. I think my email is going to be going across the bottom of here at the end. I'm not sure. Aruba can tell me, or you can go to my website, reach out to me there, book a call. Let's talk about where you are in your leadership, because leadership impacts our relationships, not just with our spouses, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, our lovers, whatever, with our children. Oh my goodness. 3 times in the last 5 or 6 weeks, I've had someone ask me, actually a 4th time, it just happened last week, went to meet a lady, networking, and we get to talking, and she says, oh my God, can you put a course like this? She's having challenges with her 18, 19-year-old daughter. And I said, you're the 3rd person that's asked me to do that. I said, perhaps I get to think about this now and do it. And I said, what would you be willing to pay for that? How long would you be willing to attend for? I got great feedback, right? Because she said, oh, I'm ADHD. I can't sit for 3 or 4 hours in a one-day seminar. Maybe we could do it 2 hours at a time for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Maybe we could do it 1 hour for 6 weeks. And she told me what she was willing to pay for that. Are you in your business asking your ideal clients what they really want? What they really want? These people want me to teach a class on helping parents effectively communicate with their children. to help get their children on the same page faster and easier, to avoid the arguments, and to empower their children to make decisions. Because when our children make decisions, they're much more likely to follow through. People like options. They don't like commands. And what happens in our leadership as parents, a lot of times we give commands, don't we? We give commands. How many of us are doing that in our job? How many of us are doing that in our company? We're giving commands. People want options. I'm dog sitting, folks. That's why the cute headband behind me fan on the wall. And this dog is sitting right here. She's just staring at me. She starts this about this time when it's way too early for dinner. And she just can stare you down. Holy moly. Her name is Miss Bailey. She's 14 and a half years old. How many of you can relate to that? There's a Facebook user. I don't know who you are. Just for further reference, when we use StreamYard, so we can stream to more than one platform, next time you join us, please give StreamYard permission. And that way I can see who you are and we can have an even better conversation. But right now it just says Facebook user. It says, I struggle to get the feedback even though I ask the questions. Are you asking empowering questions? If we're asking yes or no questions, we're not going to get a lot of feedback. But when you frame it like, what one thing, specific and time bound? What one thing? Oh, I did a VIP day on Saturday. Great new client. And not only did she fill out an intake form for me so that I could be fully prepared on what she wanted and needed, I asked her to come and bring her top 2 or 3 things that would make that day a win. This poor dog is going to make that day a win. And she did. Guess what happened? I was able to reflect back to that as we did the work. Keep us focused, keep her focused, keep me focused. This is what's going to make it a win. Now, she gave me 3 things and I right off the bat said, that one ain't happening in 5 hours. Just not going to happen. That one is going to require you working with me for at least 6 months because that behavior is so embedded for you that to give it up is going to take a lot of work. She starts laughing. She says, yeah, I agree. But I wanted you to know that it's a goal, right? I wanted you to know that it's a goal. Here's the other thing about the word struggle. Here's a writer downer for you. Write it down. I used to say that. Oh, I struggle. And then I had a coach who's, multi-million-dollar coach years ahead of me, look at me and say, you don't struggle. You're stubborn. You're not struggling. You're just stubborn. Struggle, here, write this down. Struggle is optional. Struggle is a habit. We struggle because we're addicted to our story. So what story are you choosing to stay addicted to that's keeping you in the struggle? When you get to the root of that, this little thing you just gave me is going to totally go away. I could bring back that $97 for 90-minute clarity to cash call. You could book that call. We'll get you clear on what the root of the problem is. No worries. I'm really, really good at uncovering the unseen and the unknown. I'm not sure I'm going to bring that call back. That was a 90% discount. A lot of people book that call. And in our challenges, in our businesses, and in our leadership, we're going to end up with one thing. Let me know if that helped you, Facebook user. Let me know if that gave you a little bit of clarity. We get to ask better questions to get the answers that we want. Another thing that you could do when you're asking questions, especially if you're framing them from an empowering state, is to get curious. Because it takes the pressure off the other person. If you say, I'm just curious, what one thing? Think about this. You could say, I'm just curious. What one thing of value to you could I add to my program today so that you would be excited to sign up and move forward right away? Very empowering question. You're going to get information, right? Oh, it did. Thank you so much. I'm glad. So another book that I work through in my other live that my people love is by Iyanla Vanzant. July 5th, she says, I will gain more understanding when I realize exactly where I am is where I need to be. Now, you guys who know me at all, I take that word need out of the vocabulary. I take it out of my clients' vocabulary. It's where I get to be. And I get to be wherever I am. You get to be in whatever place you are right now, whether it's in your life, your business, your job, your relationships, your health, whatever it is, you get to be there, right? It's a choice. And when you get to be there and you're choosing, now you're in an empowered state, right? She says, how many days of the week do you spend wondering why you're not further along than you are? I've done it. I don't spend every day of the week, but I've done it. If thinking about it makes you angry or frustrated, you're definitely not on the right track. Exactly where is it that you believe you need to be? Why isn't where you are just fine? Think about this, folks. This is good. You can only be where you are, and it is up to you to make the best of it. You cannot get to where you are going until you've learned all there is to learn about where you are. So we get to ask ourselves that question. What one thing can I learn today so that I can radically and quickly move to the next level? And then you finish it in my business, in my relationship, in my health, in my diet, whatever it is. Call it. There are always powerful, insightful, sometimes shocking things we need to know about ourselves. We don't need to, we get to, right? Those lessons are not over there. They're right here where we are. The things you get to know about you are right where you are today. Are you willing and open to see them and to be made aware? While you think you may know it all, there is some reliable information about your beliefs, your doubts, your stamina, and your behavior patterns right where you're sitting. Right under your nose, there is something you have forgotten, neglected, resisted, or denied. At your right side or on your left side, there is a blessing that has not been acknowledged, a hurt that has not been forgiven, a skill that remains underdeveloped, or a good that you have yet to do. Everything and everyone that is available in the place you are in right now has something to teach you or something to give you. Are you open to receiving it? Folks, when we hold on so tightly to what we think is ours, our hands aren't open for all that God and the universe want to give us today. The reason you may have missed the lessons to be learned or refused the gifts to be offered right where you are is that you're preoccupied with where you want to be. Until today, you may have missed the lesson, ignored the blessing, or denied the truth about where you are in life. Just for today, devote yourself to answering the following questions. What do I believe about where I am? Write that down and journal on that. What do I think about where I am? What do I feel about where I am? And, this is a big one. What do I tell myself about where I am? In your answers, you will find the ticket to the place that you get to be. Today, I'm devoted to learning all I get to learn about where I am. Folks, I'm right there with you. I have those days. We all have frustrations. And our brain tends to do what? Go to the negative. How come I'm not further along? Oh, and then we go into the blame game. I should be making more money. I should have more clients. Apparently not. If we're willing to trust in the process and we're right where we get to be, then there's lessons you get to learn in order to get to that next level. Right? One of the lessons I got to learn recently about my keynote speaking in corporate America is while I'd had some very good high-paying engagements, they were inconsistent because I hadn't taken the time to create a speaker's reel or get help in creating it. I hadn't created a speaker's one sheet so that I could then begin to really put together a consistent plan to have what I say I want. Guess what? That speaker's reel, actually, I thought it would be done this week. I got to reach out to those guys and hopefully they're going to say, what? Yes, that it's ready. What are you saying yes to? Are you willing to say yes to you? Are you willing to say yes to the process? You guys know I believe God only gave me a lamplight for my feet. My job is to just take the next step and trust in the process. It's not my job to see the whole picture. If I told you right now that 5 years ago when I started this journey, if God had shown me the whole picture, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd have quit because I would have thought, what? Oh, it's too hard. It's going to take too long. I can't do that. Oh, we all have it, folks. And I love helping my clients reframe and change their mindset. Yeah. I'm known as the Queen of Reframe. If you want to connect, see what it's like to work with me so we can quickly get you from where you are to where you want to go, reach out. You can reach me at carol@carolboston.com. You can ping me on Facebook. Go find me on LinkedIn. I'm there. Use the @ symbol, @THE, @the Carol Boston. This has been Carol's Courage to Confidence segment of the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, and I would love to get your feedback. If there's other things that you would like me to discuss or talk about that you're having challenges on, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your personal life, put it in the comments. Or if you don't want to put it in the comments, DM me, just private message me and say, hey, thought you on the live show Wednesday. Love for you to talk about this. There are things I can bring up even when we have other guests on the show. Let me be of service to you. Listen, it's Wednesday. Have a blessed day. Make it a great rest of your week. And until next week, go in peace. Blessings to each and every one of you. Take good care.
The Intuitive Entrepreneur Show is hosted by Max and Janetta Jones and is brought to you by Life Coaching Today magazine, empowering your health, business, community, and life. This has been a production of True Awesome Life Productions, who asked, what does your true awesome life look like? Start that journey today at trueawesomelife.com. For more information on this or past episodes, go to the Intuitive